Shalonda Booth, and I'm so excited to share something special with you. There was a time I was tithing with trembling hands, unsure how I'd make it to my next paycheck, but I trusted God anyway. I showed up in faith, even when fear was louder. And now I'm living in overflow, not just in my bank account, but in peace, purpose, and the promises of God. If He did it for me, He can do it for you too. Make sure to tune in, take notes, and join the movement of everyday people creating extraordinary legacies. Let's dominate. See you there.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Woo! Welcome to the Wealth Creators Spotlight. I am Coach Rosie, your real estate and financial planner. I am here. I am so excited today for the person that we are going to bring to the stage today, a phenomenal entrepreneur, a woman of God, and strong in her faith. Hey, I want to introduce you guys first to my co-host, Davina. Come on, Davina.
Hey everyone, welcome to Wealth Creator Spotlight. I am super excited. I am your co-host Davina Williams Booker. I am a licensed insurance agent, and we're super excited to bring up our guest Shalonda Booth. She's here to drop some gems. So let's get going.
Yes, thank you. Listen, I'm excited for Shalonda Booth and all that she is doing, not just today, but what she's done before and the things that she's going to talk to you guys about. This show is really about encouraging you, bringing people forward who are wealth creators, who started out as everyday people, but desiring to do better in their lives. Listen, our guest today is Shalonda, and she is very, very definitive and resilient. She has purpose and a vision. She's a devoted mother, a loving wife, a dedicated educator, and a proud entrepreneur, all rolled up into one big old powerhouse of a woman. She's not only shaping young minds through education, but is also building a legacy through entrepreneurship. Now, since founding her Smart Start community school, daycare, and preschool back in 2017, she has gone on to lead not one, but two thriving centers. And in doing so, listen, she's serving so many families. She is she's a person of community, and she is excellent in all that she does. She loves and have a love for children and their family and the community. She has 8 classes in her preschool, and they've all graduated. That's a real impact, y'all. Like, listen, don't take preschool lightly. That's a real impact. It's the first 3 years of a child's life that sets the stage for their adulthood. So she is also a proud member of several civic and women business organizations as a former VP at her local VFW post and a recipient of the 2024 Certificate of Dedication Award. Her journey is proof that with faith, service, education, you can build something that outlives even you. So we are honored to welcome a true wealth creator, someone who went from not knowing how to make a dollar work to learning how to make the same dollar work multiple times. So ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Shalonda Booth. Hey, Shalonda. Hey, Shalonda, how are you? Hey, Shalonda, how's everything going? Uh-oh, I think we have a little technical difficulty. We cannot hear her right now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Hey, Shalonda.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
I had to unmute myself on the computer so that you guys can hear me. Let me know if you get any echo, and then we'll
We're
have to
good.
try something different. But
Yep, we're
hi,
good.
okay, hi, Coach Rosie. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I am so excited to be here. So excited to share my struggle of how I went from. Okay, here we go. Living paycheck to paycheck. And let's see, can we stop that? Can you still hear me now?
I can.
Yes.
Okay, good. I was able to mute that on my computer. Okay, so how to share my struggle of how I went from living from paycheck to paycheck to living in the overflow. So I'll begin by talking about my struggle first. I I must say I started working at a very young age. I started working, began working at the age of 15. And my very first job, believe it or not, was at a daycare center. I actually started two jobs on my first. I have two new jobs. Well, two first jobs. So that morning I went to the daycare and worked. I was actually working through a summer program through my high school. So I worked at that daycare that morning to that afternoon, and then I left her and went to McDonald's. So I started two new jobs on the first day. So I worked. I came from a family of working people. Everybody worked to their fingers to the bone to retirement. There were no silver spoons here. Everything we got, we worked for it. So the struggle was really real, really and definitely even more real for me because my work, my job that I did, I had to because I'm the oldest of four siblings and I was raised by my mom. She became a single parent when I was 14 years old. So we went through that spiel of where the guy divorced the mom, he divorced the children. So it was my mom and us four. So the struggle was definitely hard on her. So I got out. I saw her struggling. So I was like, okay, let me lighten this load a little bit. So I got out and I started working. So I started making my own money to help my mom so she could just worry about my siblings, not me. So I kind of worked, I wouldn't say it was by choice. It was more so to alleviate her from some of the financial stresses that she was going through. But I started working at that age and been working ever since. So to move on from there, I started working at 15. By 17, I was already married with a child. So too young, too young. But I was
Wow.
very headstrong. Yeah, I should have been going on to college, which I later did. I'll get to that later in my story. But I went in reverse from the norm. So I had to work. And believe it or not, my struggle was so real. I got married. And that was supposed to alleviate a lot of the financial stresses I had. But I married my high school sweetheart. He and I both were young, didn't know anything about finances. We just thought we knew what we wanted. Neither one of us didn't know anything. So we got married, and then the financial stresses became even more real because he quit working his job. He was working, he stopped working, so that put everything on me. So I was the breadwinner from my family at the age of 17 when I got married. So I worked because we already had a child at that time, so I had to take care of my baby. So while my friends had gone off to college, there I was in the house, married at a young age with the baby and trying to work. The struggle was definitely real for me. But, and I can't really say at that point that I had faith that things would get better because I was still so young. I really wasn't in the church and had the faith that I have today. I wasn't really in the church then. I was just young and knew what I wanted. I was ready to get out of my mom's house and wanted to be the independent person that I had became. I thought that was what I wanted. I thought that was what I wanted. So we continued on, stayed, that union lasted about 9 years. And then needless to say, that cycle repeated itself. I saw the struggle in me that I saw with my mom when she and my dad got divorced. I'm like, that it added fuel to me. It made me want more. I did not want my children to go without the things that I went without at that age. Because my mom couldn't provide a lot because there was four of us, and she was always a cook. So she always worked, never had a high paying salary job. She worked just enough to make ends meet, and she was living from paycheck to paycheck. So nevertheless, I ended up repeating that same cycle, living from paycheck to paycheck. But there was a little fire inside of me Even though, like I said, I wasn't built big in my faith at that moment, that kept saying there's more. That I knew I wanted more. There was more out there for me to get, but I didn't know what it was. I wasn't raised in a family where any of them was financially literate. Nobody knew anything about finances. Everybody taught us from a young child up that whatever you want, you have to work for it. Because if you work for it and spend your own money on it, you'll keep it longer versus
So
somebody
Shalonda,
handing you something.
let me pause you for a moment here,
Sure,
because I
sure.
hear in what you're saying root causes of things that would prevent most folks from
Mm-hmm.
doing the things that you have done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you started out extremely early, wasn't born with the silver spoon in your mouth, went
Mm-hmm.
through these struggles as you had a child, married, had to take care of the family.
Mm-hmm.
There are many women who have that story. But what I want to get to is, what was it that broke the cycle for you? Because I heard you talking about, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I saw myself going in the direction that
Mm-hmm.
my mother was in. But what
Mm-hmm.
was it that broke that cycle?
I saw her hit rock bottom with the finances, and I knew that I wasn't going to let myself get that deep into that struggle. So for me, I had a shift in mindset. I really didn't like have a mentor or someone to guide me and say, "Look, this is what you need to do. Why don't you go back to school?" Da da da. It shifted. Something clicked in me, and I think and it's not that I think. I know God had his hands on me the whole time because I worked hard. He saw the struggle. I worked hard. I was committed. I made sure I made do with what we have, because believe it or not, with the little money that I made, we never lived on the system. I never got government assistance. So I made do with what I have because I was forced to become very responsible at a very young age. I made sure the bills stayed on time. We were never in the dark. We were never without food. None of that. We, like I said, I made do with with the little I had. And because that's all I knew to do. And I was not gonna let my children starve. So that just fueled me. Like, I got a child here. She can't suffer because of our mistakes. And I refuse to let that happen. So that
So
was
when
my fuel to shift me from going to living from check to check, and then God provided open doors for me, open doors for me for a higher wage paying job. And at that point, the struggle, I went from living paycheck to paycheck to surviving. It wasn't paycheck to paycheck. I had a little bit more. I had a little gas money. We make it eat out once a week, but it was still survival mode for me. I still wasn't ahead at that point. So,
now that you found yourself in that position,
mm-hmm,
there's some light now, right? You're starting to
there's
see
the
some
fight.
light. You're
Mm-hmm,
getting ahead. You're making a little bit more than what you were doing. Let's
mm-hmm.
push forward to how you began your journey in Wealth Creators. What sparked this fuel in you to get you to say, I want to be a part of Wealth Creators?
Well, let me tell you, I'm glad you asked that question. I was led to Wealth Creators. I didn't know anything about it. I was led here. So it was part of my destiny to be in this group because I didn't know anything about it. If you remember that old talk show, Press Your Luck, where you have these whammies and the little light just go around, and if you when you press the button, you hit the whammy, you lose everything. I'm saying that to make a parable about how I saw Marvin. So I was actually scrolling through my Facebook, face after face, post after post, and his face came and I stopped. But I didn't hit a whammy when I didn't hit that whammy when I stopped on Marvin's face because, and I didn't know why I was there because I had passed plenty of faces before his, and I stopped. I'm like, let me listen to just hear him out and hear what he has to say. So he went on and he gave his spiel about how he can help me, make money, use my make money off the same dollar multiple times and all this stuff. Everything he said to me was stuff that I wanted to do. But like I said, I had attended conferences and trainings before. I was like, I hope this is not one of these things. I said, but it can't be because I scrolled past other people that were trying to sell something before him and I stopped right on him. So, nevertheless, what really sold me, what really, really hooked me on into Wealth Creators was that 5 day challenge. When I
Mm.
went through that challenge, I took notes. I have never ever in my life gone through a challenge that gave me drop that many gems that I could start using right away for free.
Wow.
And in that 5 day training, I was hooked. I said, now if he can keep me on this thing 3 days, he got me. By that third day, I was hooked. I was hooked. So I joined the Wealth Creators to gain the knowledge and the confidence and support that I needed to take control of my finances and to actually break that cycle of just surviving and mediocrity to building lasting and generational wealth with purpose. So that's why I joined the Wealth Creators Group. And it was the best decision that I ever made. Because I'm going to tell you this, I knew, and I'm sure there's other people out there just like me. I knew absolutely nothing about financial literacy. I mean, I could say a short 6 months ago. I knew absolutely nothing about it, but I just knew there was more for me, and I didn't know what that more was. So it was weighing on me, kind of heavy. And when like I said, once I saw Marvin and heard his testimony, and I was hooked and to join this group, it was just being in this group is a gym itself with the people and the support and the love. It's like we're just all family here, and I feel safe here. I feel welcome. And I have been nurtured, believe it or not, just listening to people testimonies because we learn and we build off each other. It is like a group, it's unmatched compared to those that I have attended in the past. It is unmatched. It's unmatched. So I
I
am happy.
absolutely love it.
I'm
Yeah, I
absolutely happy.
absolutely love it. What were
So
some of the what are name two at least results that you have gotten from being in Wealth Creators?
oh
And
wow.
I want to add to your question as well, Coach Rosie. And while being in Well Creators, do you have someone that you look up to, and the reason why you look up to that person?
I can answer that real quickly. The person that I do is Coach Rosie. When I first met her, it's like I've told her this personally too. It's just her spirit. Her spirit, her smile, her energy is very contagious. It's hard to be in a bad mood around Coach Rosie because her energy ain't gonna let you be in a bad mood. When I first met her, I said, "Look, we're gonna be best friends. We're gonna be BFFs." I didn't even know her. I just said that based off my first interaction with her. Just listen to her voice. It's just something in her voice that's just soothing. It makes you, what's the word? I don't know. I just feel at peace, just a sense of peace, with her. And she's very genuine. So, and her help is coming from heart. Anytime I've ever reached out to Coach Rosie, but via text or call, she has always answered me almost right away. And I know she's busy, and I'm not the only person. She has kids and, a life, and then other wealth creators as well. But for me, she always make our needs feel personal, and that makes a difference. So I will always respect her and look up to her for that.
That is wonderful.
How
So
sweet is that? Now, what are the results? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What other results that name two at least results that you have gained since you've become a wealth creator?
one, let me tell you, there's so many. So you said just name two. One, I've gotten an IUL. Didn't know anything about IULs prior to joining Wealth Creators. I learned a lot about it. Coach Rosie assisted me and helped me get that started as well. So I'm now investing, into that policy um, now. And then two, another thing that I've learned. Let me just back this up. I didn't even know my financial status until I was doing that personal financial statement with Coach Rose. And she said, "Girl, you're already past the 7 figures with what I had." I didn't realize that I already had the power in my hand with the assets and the stuff that I've already acquired over the years. I didn't know that. And I definitely didn't know how to use what I already had. So since I've joined Wealth Creators, I've gained some invaluable knowledge that has allowed me to gain a new property just within the past 6 months. I bought a new property just
Wow.
based on the things that I've learned. So had I not joined this group, I would still be just living, thriving. And I thank you so much. I thank y'all so much for this group. There's just so much more that I've done. I have an annuity. We're still, working on that. Like I said, I've gained that property. I've got the IUL going, and other things. The knowledge that I've gained so far will last me a lifetime. So
Yep.
I'm just so happy to have been a part of this group. And there's more. There's so much more to come. And the friendships that I've gained, the stuff that I've gained, the friendships, they'll be forever. I mean, this group is unmatched for anybody that's sitting on the fence and straddling and thinking about it. Jump. Because that's what I did. Jump.
So, any of you
Do
that
it.
are watching, for all of you who are watching, please feel free to ask Shalonda a question. Put it in the chat. We'll be more than happy to make sure that she gets that message and can answer the questions for you. All right. So, yeah, we love that. Let's see. So let's talk a moment about motherhood and
Okay.
what when it comes to parenting and motherhood. What's the one thing that you believe really keeps you going as a wealth creator when we talk about being a mom?
Legacy. Building legacy for my family. Not wanting them to have to get it out the mud, so to speak, as I did. I'm not trying to make life easier for them, but I don't want them to have to struggle to get it either. So they are the fuel to my fire. Everything that I do it for my children, and they're grown. All except my son, he's a sophomore in college now. But my girls, they're grown. So everything that I'm building and leaving for them. So if there's a mom out there, when it comes, think about your children. Think about the struggles that you endured as a child coming up. And ask yourself, is this something that I want my child to endure if I can prevent it? Like my mom, I'm sure we wouldn't have gone through what we had gone through had she had the knowledge that I had at this moment in time. They didn't know anything about financial literacy, and I didn't either until just a few months ago. Like I said, I didn't even realize the power that I already had in my hands. And had I not joined this group, I would still be living just I knew, I'm gonna tell you what I did know before I joined this group, that I had money to do whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. But what I didn't know is I could be investing this money over here and over here and over here and doing so much more than what I was doing, because I was doing absolutely nothing but what I had. So it could have been here today and gone tomorrow. But now that I've created multiple streams of income, then I feel a little bit more comfortable with hanging on to it for a little bit longer than before joining this group. So you single moms, you keep your best foot forward, be consistent in what you do, make every dollar count. You'll get there.
And see, we were one of the questions I was going to ask you is what would you say to someone who may be experiencing right now the things that you have gone through? Shine some light into their lives. What words would you use to encourage them?
Have faith. First of all, pray. Get a relationship with God. He did not create us to struggle. So once you get that relationship with him and live in his word, repeat his word back to him. Repeat some positive affirmations over your life. If you're struggling, you can get through it. Because I do know one thing, if he did it for me, he can do it for you too. So my thing is just um get in the room also with people around you that's doing what you want to do. And that's kind of what I did here with Ref Creators. If God is giving you that inclination and you don't have the money, just jump. Just do it anyways. You don't have to start out with six figures to be successful. All you have to do is have that mindset to change and want more and to do better. And then be consistent at the thoughts and building on that until you see results. Because that's what I did. Like I said, I always knew as a teenager there was more. There's more for me, but I just didn't know what that more was. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I didn't want to lack. And I know God didn't create me to lack. And one affirmation that I do repeat is God is my shepherd, I shall not want. And if you repeat that, you won't lack. Because, like I said, when I was living and making $250 a week, I thought I was what the young people say balling back then. I was balling. I wasn't balling back then, but I thought I was doing pretty good. But there's more. There's so much more. Educate yourself. Get in the room with people that can lift you up, that's going to push you above your limits, and the sky's the limit.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Shalonda, where can people find you? And is there anything you want to promote that you're working on right now?
Well, I currently, like I told Coach Rosie, I'm not a social media person. I'm not out in the spotlight. I got to get out there. I have to. I do have a business page. However, my business is on Facebook. But I do. If someone needs to contact me personally, they have my personal number here within the group. My number, they can always reach out to me, and I have had people to text me from getting my number, from this group or whatever. So you can reach out to me that way. And currently, what I'm working on now is getting ready to do my first seller finance property. The guys will wrap up on Friday with that. Thanks to Coach Rosie. That's another gem I learned about seller financing, and I'm about to execute.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Listen, one of the things that I know about you, Shalonda, is you are not afraid to execute.
No,
Before you came
no,
into, you were already doing things, but you stopped because you
right?
said to me, I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm-mm.
And you you had already paid off properties,
Mm-hmm.
like paid in full, like paid
Yes.
off properties, like you meant business. And
Mm-hmm.
I said to you, why did you stop? And you said, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm-mm.
I was
I
just
was
doing it, but I
clueless.
didn't know what I was doing. And now having a blueprint, having a plan, having an understanding, still having that unwavered faith that you
Yes.
can do all things through Christ. You that didn't leave, but
Mm-mm.
execution. Execution. I
Execute.
think it was a couple of months of you and I talking and sort of getting you on track that in those couple of months, once you began to desire to truly execute and started
Mm-hmm.
working on things, was when the property that you just spoke of came about,
Right.
right? Came about.
Mm-hmm.
And we met and you're like, this is what just happened. And I'm like, what? And by the time you told me about it, you had already executed. You told the
Yes.
person, I'll give you X amount for this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Already negotiated. And so
Right.
the great thing is, and one other thing that I recall that you said, and I think it was this week or last week, you said, I may not have done everything the way that it should have been done when I was
Right.
acquiring this property.
Mm-hmm.
Did it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I did it. Right. And I said, we're going to make this work.
That's right.
We're
I
going
know
to make
exactly. I
and
know
kudos.
exactly. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. When you said, I don't know if can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yes. When I told you that when you and I were speaking about that property and we were kind of thinking, oh, I kind of probably overpaid a little bit too much considering the money I had put into it. And it was just about, I mean, maybe a week or a Saturday or two ago, Marvin came on after saving all that money with his taxes and all. He had spoke with his
CPA.
accountant,
Yeah.
CPA, and he was talking about the strategy on the how real estate is actually your ticket out, how you can save a lot of money with taxes. So our goal should be to at least acquire one property a year because you get to write it off in full under this new tax code. And I was like, woo!
Yes,
That was
absolutely.
like music to my ears. I told Marvin, I said, you dropped the gem when you said that because I'm gonna get all that money back.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it all.
That's the beauty. That's
So
the
we
beauty
thank,
of it all.
yeah, we thank you so much. Hey, Davina, what anything you want to ask Shalonda before we sign off for today?
I did want to ask a question. It was further in the conversation, but I'm curious, how did you, what inspired you to start your daycare and the preschool? What was the motivating factor for you?
Let me tell you, life. I went through like a terrible storm in my life. And that storm would be one of those type of testimonies I have to say for like the place to tell you, to go in details and have that intimate moment of how God shifted me. Because when you learn about his will, I thought my will for me was to be in the classroom as an educator all my live long years until I retired. But life came, storms happened, and God shifted me. He didn't want me to be in the classroom. I had to get in his will and be obedient. He gave me the inclination to start my own preschool. But like I said, the storms of life came raging and the opportunity presented itself. So what I started doing was when he gave me that mindset, I just jumped. There was no business owners in my family that I could talk to give me no insight on running a business. But because my background and my experience, my background as a business person, because my first degree was in business administration. I kind of worked in HR. So I was always dealing with people. And then I'm a usher at my church. So I had that shot, that people's persona. So
Hmm.
like I said, I did not have someone to tell me anything about business ownership. So I just jumped. I just went in for it. And how I got here was I went to a lady that I knew. She had kept one of my girls way back in the day, and she owned a daycare. I said, I want to come and volunteer. And she was like, she knew I was an educator and teacher, whatever. I said, I just want to volunteer because I've been had the inclination that I wanted to start my own business. I volunteered. I just was stopping by in the afternoon, just reading to her kids or whatever. And she offered me a business the second week. So
Wow.
that's what happens when you walk in obedience.
Yes.
Doors are going to open for you that you ain't going to even be able to explain how they open. Because this oftentimes I look and wonder, how did I get here? All I can say is, but God, he got the answers.
Yes.
Because I actually went there the next week. She had two centers and she was just tired of managing them both. So she offered me my very first one. And guess what? It was fully staffed, full of kids. I didn't have to start from scratch. I just took over a
That is
business that was
amazing.
already profitable. And like I said, that's what happens when you walk in obedience. God
Yeah.
sets it up for you. And so
Yeah.
I've been here ever since. And then after then, a year later, I started a daycare. So I started a daycare right after then. So I started a preschool first, and then the year after that is the daycare. And the difference between the two, the preschool, we actually are in collaborative with our local school district here. So we have a class that's part of the school district. So you have to be a licensed educator to be in the pre-K class here. So God kept opening doors for me when I started doing it, being in his will and not my will.
That is
Even
amazing.
though
Thank
your
you so
will,
much.
yeah, even though your will is not causing you any yeah, you just have to stay in his will. And he'll everything else will just unfold for you to work in your favor.
Thank you so
I
much for sharing that story. It gives us faith to trust in God and know that His will is best. So thank you so
His
much
will.
for
Oh,
reminding us
you're welcome.
to trust
You're
Him.
welcome.
So I wanna end with this. You said something, and Cynthia Burgess put it in the chat, and she said, "The storms of life." You said this. The storms
Hmm.
of life will shift you, and
That's what I said.
I absolutely love that. Right,
Hmm.
because at some point in all of our lives, there will be a storm,
Oh yeah.
but
Yes.
how and where it takes us is what many times we don't know, we're afraid of, and it stops us from moving. But the
Hmm.
storm is still there.
That's
And
right.
either we're going to relax in the storm and trust God and
Hmm.
allow the shift to take us to where he has planned for us to go,
Mm-hmm.
or we're going to fight till we get tired.
You can't do that.
Right? We fight until we get tired.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you have always, it seems I haven't known you forever, but you have
Mm-hmm.
always, seems, been that person to say, I'm going to take what was meant to be a lemon,
Mm-hmm.
turn it into lemonade, and then turn around and plant the seed to grow more trees.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Let me tell you, when you're going through a storm, it's not really what God allows you to go through, it's how you go through it. You have to embrace it. I prayed my way through that storm, and that storm was sent to humble me on a level that I had never seen before. And it was during that time that I was going through that storm that I gave the most. I was a giver and a volunteer. I went and fed the homeless at the shelters, just volunteering, a giver, giving of my time freely. And it was so rewarding to me to be a giver, to be a servant. And I guess that's why I still have that mindset of a servant. I'll always be that person, regardless of what level God takes me to. He's already humbled me, and there's no turning back from this. I love it
Absolutely.
here. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hey, everybody, I just want to remind all of you that tonight we have, Marvin has a webinar that's going on tonight. You can join that. It is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central. So if you're interested in joining the Wealth Creators Inner Circle, it all begins on one of his Wednesday night webinars. It is free. So come on, take the time, sit down, learn about what it
Hmm.
is to become a wealth creator and how to begin your journey. So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Yolanda. It has been absolutely fabulous having you here today. And we can't wait to have you come back again to see what else you have done, how much bigger you have grown your
Yes.
empire. All
Yes.
right.
Yes. Keep going.
Davina
So
and I are so
before
happy to have you.
before
We are
before we
looking
go,
forward
Coach Rosie,
to
the
we
meeting
are
that you
having
mentioned.
this time. I'm sorry, Davina.
No, I was just saying the meeting tonight got rescheduled to 8:30, so I just wanted to put that out there so people know that it's at 8:30.
Gotcha. The webinar is at 8:30 tonight. Thank you, Davina. I
You're welcome.
appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. Cynthia, David, and all the rest of you guys. Tosca, thank you all for coming today. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. This is a bi-weekly show. We'll see you then. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.